Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Chuck here, and today in this Firebot tutorial, we are taking a look at using events in Firebot. So Firebot considers an event following, subscribing, giving bits. Those are the types of things that an event is. Same thing with like raids and hosts. So if this is the first Firebot tutorial you're seeing from me and you have no idea what Firebot even is, what you should do is in the description down below are links to the playlist and to other Firebot tutorial videos to kind of get you up to speed. We take a look at some simple chat commands, some cool ones such as making a shout out or playing like art sound effects. But in this one, we're going to be taking a little bit more of a jump in the deep end in terms of diving into various Firebot things. So let's get started. All right, so what we're gonna do is we started off by creating a Twitter command, lurking, fart, and shoutouts. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to the events tab on the left side of Firebot. So events can be grouped a couple different ways. You can group events just in one big running list, or you can have specific events for things like follow notifications. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna create an event set that we're going to call our stream notifications. So these are follows, bits, subs, stuff like that. So we're going to create an event set. Now, part of the reason you might want to create an event set is it'll be a lot easier to figure out where your events are stored, or like if you need to go in and make a change, all your alerts are in one place. In the next tutorial, we'll actually be taking a look at integrations with things like Stream Elements and Streamlabs. So if you get a donation, you might want to come back in here and make some changes. So we'll take a look at that stuff in the next video. So we're going to call this Stream Alerts. So we've got our events set. So you can have general events, put whatever you want here. And then I have Stream Alerts. So under Stream Alerts, I'm going to create a new event. And the first event we're going to create is a follow event. So under add event, you set how the event is triggered, meaning is this a follow? Did someone chat? What have you? There's a lot of different events here. Cheering, such as if they give you bits. But we're going to go down to follow. So you'll see that when someone follows your channel, you can listen for that. Now, there are multiple follows. If you look closely, there's from Tippy, Streamlabs, and Stream Elements. The reason there are additional, the normal Firebot Twitch follow alert checks for new followers once a minute. So every minute, Firebot's going to go and check to see if someone new followed. This is because it's not cloud-based. So Twitch, because Firebot runs on your computer and not on a server, it has some restrictions in how often it can ask Twitch what's happening. If they didn't do this, Twitch would eventually kick you out and it wouldn't return anything. So it goes in a way that Twitch doesn't get upset with the number of times you're pinging its servers. So Streamlabs, Tippy, and Stream Elements are all additional ways that you can do follow checks. However, and at least from my experience, I use Streamlabs. It's pretty much instantaneous. As soon as someone follows, it's there. There might be up to a minute delay, usually like 10 or 15 seconds is usually what it felt like when someone followed, but the alert would fire. We'll be taking a look at these in the future. That's the next video is integrations, but for now, we'll be taking a look at just normal follows. So we're gonna give this a name. We're gonna call this follow event. And what we're gonna do, we're not actually gonna apply any filters for this. So we're not gonna check to see if the username is anything or if they're in a particular role. None of that. Firebot basically handles did the person follow or not. Now, there are two settings here, and you'll see this in a bunch of different areas in Firebot, including in the normal commands when you're creating a chat command. You can actually show the alert in the chat feed. So what this means is that Firebot will show in the chat feed in Firebot that the follow event happened. This is handy if you don't want a chat message to say thank you. However, if you have a chat effect, which we're going to be making, you don't necessarily need this. And lastly, you can skip logging that the event happened. I almost never check this. I don't think I have anything checked with skip logging, but that's what this would do for you. We're going to create an effect. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put some text on the screen that says, thank you, so-and-so. So let's hit add new effects, and we're going to look for what's called the text effect or show text effect. Show text. There we go. So we're going to show specific text in the overlay. Now, if you haven't set up the Firebot overlay, the previous video, we take a look at how to set that up with the complex commands. However, you need to go to the settings tab in Firebot and get the Firebot URL. And then in OBS, you need to make sure that you have a browser source called Firebot. Now, for this, we're assuming that you're streaming in 1080p and that you have made your browser source 1920 by 1080. So the exact same size as your stream. If you feel like getting more creative, there will be future videos specifically talking about doing really neat things with the overlays. However, for this, we're assuming basically that it's the same size as your stream. We're gonna hit select. Now here's where we get to put some text on the screen. The reason why we have an OBS window in the background running is because we're actually gonna be testing this live. Now I want my follow alert to be on the middle right-hand corner of the screen. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put, we're gonna start typing something. So we're gonna say, thank you. Now, when someone follows, you actually use the $user variable. This is the person who followed. If you click on the variable button and type user, you'll see that there is the associated user if there is one for the given trigger. In this case, a new user followed, so we know who the user is. So thank you for following. Cool. And what we're going to do is while we're building this, we're actually going to show a debug border. This is going to come in handy in a little bit. Okay. We're going to have this be in the middle right side. So don't worry about the container settings yet. We're just moving this to the right. Now you can put this wherever you want. So just like with the shout out command, you can kind of, or shout out effect, you can kind of pick a location that's preset in the overlay. But again, this is assuming that the overlay is a 1920 by 1080 thing, or at least 16 by 9 in terms of aspect ratio, to be able to place this in the correct location on the overlay. Now, if you're really anal or you need to make a change to make this look perfect, you can also specifically set the number of pixels from the top or bottom, or from the left side or the right side of the overlay, using the specific location. Now, this is the top left corner of the box. So that's where it's basically setting the anchor point. So this is where the top left corner of your text on screen will be showing. For that, it's a little bit too complicated for this right now, so we're just going to go middle right. And we want to show this we'll show this for 5 seconds. Now, this doesn't look very big, so let's make this a bit bigger. Let's make this 36 font. And that looks good. So let's hit the test effect. And now we'll see. Okay, so we've got our red box here. It says, thank you for following. Thank you, heyaapl, for following. So I'm the one who tested the effect. Except here's the downside. A, it's hard to read right now. And B, it's not all that big. But that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to reduce the height a little bit to 150 because I have plans. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this to 150. And you'll see that the red box has gotten a little bit shorter. Now, if you really don't want the text to wrap in your box, you can hit don't wrap text. And you'll see that the text basically hits the edge and doesn't go anywhere further. So what we want to do is keep the text wrapping. And now that we can see our debug border, we're going to leave this checked for now. If you leave this checked, the red border that you see here will continue to be there even after you are done building this. So if you see red boxes, it means you didn't uncheck the debug border. So we've got our text. We're going to hit add. Now the downside of black text is sometimes it'll be great because the screen's bright and it'll be easy to see. And other times the game behind it may be dark. So what we're going to do is we're also going to add a video that's going to play behind the text. Firebot layers things by the first thing that comes onto the scene is the farthest down, and the most recent thing is on top. So what we need to do is we need to add a video effect next. So we have our show text, which is showing, again, this is showing the text on screen. We're going to add a show video. We're going to add a video. I can type. Add a play video effect. Now I have a WebM video that's local. So I'm going to choose a local video, and I'm going to choose a my alert video. So let me choose this. So we've got our video added, and I can just hit this play button. I'll just see, yep, so there's my little banner that plays in, and then it just plays out. So I made this in After Effects. This is really nice. So if you end up either making your own transparent video effects in After Effects or other applications like it, or if you purchase something from websites like Nerd or Die, not a sponsor, or any other website that sells streamer alerts, you can just plug it into Firebot. And again, so we already have our text on the side. I'm just going to move this video to play in the middle right. So middle right, let's hit play. You can see it's enormous. It's not quite fitting quite right. So what we need to do is we need to make this smaller. So we said that our text is 400 pixels wide. So let's set this to 450, and you'll see because I'm forcing a 16:9 ratio, it figures out the height for me. I don't have to type it, which is nice. So it keeps the ratios. It doesn't get all stretched or weird. So when I hit play, let's see. There's the effect. Okay, it looks too small, so we got to make it bigger. Let's make it 650. How does 650 look? Okay, we're getting there. So maybe 750. There we go. That's a good event. Perfect. Okay, so we've got our video now. So again, so if we play these just in order, you'll see that the text is going to get overwritten by my video. That's not very good. So what we need to do is we need to reorder these. So if we make the text happen after the video and hit play, now the text stays on top, which is what we want. Now we need to make a couple of adjustments here. So we can either move our text from here to here, or move the video more to the right. And I think I want to move the video to the right. Okay, so what we have to do is we're going to take our video, and right now it's playing here effectively. What we need to do is make our text stay on screen for a long time. This is going to help us while we work to figure out where the video is going to be. So this will help us kind of hone in where our video is going to be placed. So in terms of our duration, we want this to last for 120 seconds. Okay. That means when we hit play, this red box is going to be on there for a long time. So what we need to do is we need to set our video to play from the, we're going to continue to have it come in from the top. However, we need it to come in from the right side. So now it should play up here somewhere. Okay. So we need it to come over to the right, maybe minus 25 pixels to the right. So we're just going to keep playing with this until it looks like we're almost good. Okay, so we got to go maybe like 35, 10 more to the side. 45. It was just a bit of trial and error here. If I was a mathematician, I might be able to get this to fit just right, but I'm not. So we're just going to play around with this a bit. Let's go 55. So we're moving this more and more to the right. There we go. That looks pretty good. And now we got to move it down. So instead of going negative would move it closer to the top. We want to move it closer to the bottom. Let's move this down 250 pixels. Let's see where that puts us. All right. So you can start to see it's starting to look like it's lining up. That's not too bad. Let's move it a little further. Let's do 350. Let's see if we overshoot. All right. So we know it's somewhere between 250 and 350. Let's do 335. All right. It's not close enough. Let's do 315. We got to keep moving it close to the top. All right, let's do 325. Somewhere in here is the number. All right, we're almost there. 330 might be it. Let's see. Oh, it's pretty close. That's pretty close. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have our text be just a little bit shorter. So we're going to make this 140 tall. So if we hit play, that looks good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to test this whole thing. That looks like it's fitting. There we go. Nice. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have our show text. We're going to turn off our debug border. We're going to save. It's important that you save as you're going along. Let's refresh our Firebot browser source so that way that clears up. All right. Now, when we hit play, let's make sure that this doesn't last for, forever. Let's say it goes for 5 seconds because this video is 6 seconds long. So we'll have this play and you'll see it all happens at the same exact time, which is fine-ish, except it's not. So what we want to do instead is we want to add a little bit of a delay between the video starting and the text showing. So we're going to add a new effect we call a delay. Again, I can't seem to type. Let's hit delay. We're going to add a delay of 1.5 seconds and see if this helps. So if we hit play, okay, that looks pretty good. Now we're going to go back to our show text. It's lasting too long. So the video is 6 seconds. It's 1.5 seconds to get in, 1.5 seconds to get out. Let's make the text be on the screen for 3 seconds. Let's see if that's enough. We'll hit play. All right, we're starting to get there. You can start to see how this is coming together. It's on there a little bit too long for how my video goes, but maybe that's because these default animations on my text take 1 second to build in and 1 second to build out. So I can customize the duration. So let's have our fade in take half a second, or we can do 500 milliseconds. We'll do the same, 500 milliseconds for the fade out. So it goes in and out in half the time. We'll hit save. All right, that's looking pretty good. And let's see on the build out. That looks pretty good. All right, let's hit save. Now, one of the things that will happen is that if multiple people follow you at the exact same time, these will all overlap. So Firebot has something called a queue. So we don't currently have a queue. So let's create one, and we're going to call this our alerts queue. So our alerts queue is going to be a custom duration. That means that for every single event, we're going to tell it how long it needs to wait before it shows the next thing. So there are a couple different types here. We'll take a look at these. There are different use cases for each of these. We're going to use custom for now and hit save. Now we're going to say that this is a 7-second queue, meaning that when this runs, it will take 7 seconds to finish. And lastly, we're going to have a chat effect. So when someone follows, we want to celebrate in chat and say, thank you for following. Thank you for following the person who followed. $user. Again, if you can't remember this, the blue variables button and just searching for user works. You can also type username. It's the same username, same thing, just less typing for you. So we'll hit add. Now, what you'll see is this is behind the delay. So when we hit play, it will start the video. Then when the text appears on screen, then the chat message happens. This is actually kind of helpful on Twitch because of that stream delay already. This means that things in chat will happen as they start to appear on stream. So it's not the stream being 3 seconds behind chat. Now it's just about 1.5 seconds. It's a lot less noticeable to a viewer that there's a delay between what they're seeing on stream and what they're reading in chat. Unless they're on mobile, in which case, it's hopeless. So we got this. We're going to hit save. That is our follow event. what we're going to do now is we're actually going to duplicate this for our subscription event. We're going to duplicate, and you'll notice it just says follow event copy. We're going to open this up, and we're going to change this to a subscribe event. And you'll see that there is a subscription event. Just like we had a trigger for follows, there's a trigger for subscribe. So sub. There's also a different event for gifted subs. Keep this in mind. The variables change a little bit, but we'll use sub. And so we've got our subscribe event. We're going to keep everything the same. I still want my video to play, but I want my text to be different. So thank you, user, for following. Let's change this to subscribing. There are extra variables here. So if you would like to, you could even add, if we search for sub, you'll see sub current streak, sub months. This is the number of months that they've been subscribed. What type of sub, whether it's a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Keep in mind with sub type, if it's a tier 2 sub and you have given it a custom name in your Twitch panel where you've set them to a special name instead of tier 1, you've customized the names, it will show that instead. So keep that in mind. That caught me off guard. I thought I was being clever by coming up with custom names. My chat messages made no sense when I did that. So I had to change things around to make Firebot make sense. Now, what we're going to do is we're not going to use these in the on-screen alert, but we will use these variables in the chat message. So thank you, some person, for subscribing. We'll hit save. And in our chat message, thank you for subscribing for... Now we're going to use our variable sub. So we're going to say sub months. User, they are on a sub months or sub streak, sub current streak, number of months. They are on a X number of months sub 3 month sub streak. There we go. Cool. So we've got this. We'll hit save. Perfect. So now we have our subscribe event. So we've got our on-screen event here that will show. So if we hit play, we'll see. Thank you, heyaapl, for subscribing. And there we go. There our text goes. Pretty easy. We can do the same thing for bits. We're going to duplicate this. Now this is handy if you're using the same video over and over, or if the videos are essentially the same size, but you're just changing a few things. This comes in handy if you're buying pre-made alert packs from things like Nerd or Die. We'll hit edit. We're going to change our text. Thank you for... now, the XX bits. Now, we're going to change XX to our variables. So let's hit variables, and we're going to type bits. Ooh. Now, you'll notice bits aren't showing up yet in the variables, and that's because our event is still set to a subscription. So let's hit save, change our event type to a cheer. So we'll say cheer, cheer event. Now, we'll go to our text. We'll see that now, oops. We'll see that if we go to this and I click on vars and type bits, we'll see cheers amounts, cheer bits amount. Cheer bits amount. Let's set this to the correct font size, which I think was 36. Cool. Thank you for the X number of bits. We can hit play and see how that looks. Thank you for the 0 bits. Okay, cool. We'll save. We play this. We'll see it with the white background so it's easier to see. Perfect. Thank you for 0 bits. And we're going to go in and update our chat message for the same thing and hit save. So we hit play. Now, the nice part about duplicating is that things like our queue are repeated, which doesn't change because the videos are all the same length. We have our show text. We got our chats. Looks good. So now we have follows, subscribes, and chats. Let's connect to Twitch and see what this looks like. So we've got our chat feed here. Now we got to enable our chat feed really quick. We're going to hit the gear. We'll turn it on. Let's go to our events here. and we're going to run our follow event. We hit follow, text appears, we go to our chat feed. Thank you for following Firebot. Cool. If we go to our events, we can do our subscribe event. Thank you Firebot for subscribing. Go to our chat feed. Thank you for subscribing for so you can see we need to update our message. Thank you for subscribing for X number of months. They are on a 1-month sub streak. So let's go back to our event, subscribe, update our chat message to say, thank you for subscribing for 1 month. We can hit save, and now in our chat feed, it will say, when we run the event again, subscribe. Thank you for subscribing for 1 month, Firebot. There are ways to make this dynamic. So you could say if it's 1 month or 1 months, 12 months. So if it's the first time they subscribe, there are conditionals. We will eventually get to that. If you feel adventurous, the effect you're looking for is a conditional effect, but that's something special. And we'll take a look at that later. But they are on a 1-month sub streak. And to go back to our events, last but not least is our cheer event. At cheer, thank you Firebot for the 0 bits. These are kind of underwhelming though. Normally these have like some sort of like sound effect, something to celebrate. Well, let's add a sound effect. So we'll go to our follow, we'll hit edit, and let's add a new sound effect. So we're gonna hit play sound. This is very similar to the fart command we did. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna add a sound for follows. All right, so I've got a sound effect. If I hit play, cool, kind of quiet. We're gonna turn it up a bit. Nice. All right, that sounds good to me. We'll hit add. And if we hit play, it doesn't come in until later. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move our sound effect above delay. All right, so let's hit play again. Let's see how that looks. Nice, that looks pretty good, right? What we can do is we could go through each of our events and just add the sound effect and then reorder. Or we can click the dots on the side and hit copy. We'll see there's a couple here. We're gonna copy this. We'll hit save. Now let's go to subscribe. We'll edit subscribe. Under play video, we're gonna paste after our sound effect. So if we go to play sound, we're gonna choose a different, this is our sub, so we'll do our subscription sound, which is a little bit different. If we hit play, there we go, there's a subscribe sound. And if we go to edit again, we can hit paste after, change our sound effect to the bits sound effect. Play. There you go. So there you go. That is events in Firebot. That is using the default event system with some really simple ways to get videos, text, and sounds on screen, while also thanking someone in a chat message. There's a lot you can do with these. You can make these really crazy. In the next video, we're going to be taking a look at integrations and channel points. So if you want to see that, don't forget to hit subscribe. If you have any questions or want some help on something specific, leave a comment down below, and I'm replying to comments, so I'm happy to help you out in the comment section. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Peace out, stay classy. I love your guys' faces, and I will see you in the next video.